everyone, and thank you for joining me for another watercolor. Oh no, this one's not watercolor, this one is an acrylic painting tutorial. I've kind of been on sort of an acrylic kick lately, but don't worry if you subscribe to my channel because you mainly enjoy watercolors. That is mainly what I will continue to paint with. I just sort of have been in a watercolor rut after painting 2 videos a week for a year, so I wanted to try out some more acrylic paintings, and I have a bunch of acrylic paint and a bunch of acrylic paint brushes laying around, and if I never use them, then what's the point of having them around? So I decided that I was going to paint this fun winter painting, Winterscape, today, featuring my favorite thing to paint, which is pine trees. The other reason why I am painting with acrylic paint today is because I want to use up this dreadful sketchbook that I've had for a year. I started using it when I got back into watercolor painting when I started my channel a year ago, and I really wanted to use it up before the new year, and I'm not sure when this particular video is going to be released, but I only, at the time of recording this voiceover, I only have, I think, 3 pages left in this sketchbook, and I just want to use them up so that I can create one of those videos where I flip through my entire sketchbook, and I thought it would be an excellent time to release that video in the new year, or really close to the new year, because it's kind of like a new start. I'm finished the sketchbook, on to the next one, which, funny enough, I've already started using a new sketchbook because this one wasn't the best quality for watercolor painting, because watercolor really requires specific paper, and because this sketchbook is on the cheaper end of sketchbooks, it was great. Like, some pages worked really well, but some pages were not very absorbent, and this probably has to do with the manufacturing of the sketchbook, and it may just be the batch that I got that has this problem, but I decided that I was just going to paint the remainder of the pages in acrylic paint, because acrylic paint is a lot more relaxed in terms of where you paint, or what kind of the type of paint, the type of paper that you paint it on. It doesn't really have to be super absorbent. You can use regular printer paper for acrylic paint. You can use a variety of types of paper, and acrylic paint will bind really nicely. So I'm basically hitting 3 birds with 1 stone by painting this painting in the sketchbook. 1, I get to upload a video for you guys. 2, I get to use up the remaining pages in my sketchbook so I could film that video. And 3, I really wanted to paint with acrylic paint in general. So I really love painting pine trees. I think I say that in every single video. And winter is an excellent excuse to paint pine trees because they look so beautiful when they're snow covered. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen pictures of BC and how the pine trees look in the mountains when they're covered with snow. They're super tall, and because they're really tall and the branches are short, and because it snows so much in the Rockies, those trees look so bushy and fluffy, and I love how it looks. So I kind of tried to replicate that in this painting. But because I'm so used to painting with watercolor paints, it was a very different process, and I'm still not used to painting pine trees and fine details in general using acrylic paints, because the paint is so thick that you can't just paint it on with one brush stroke, for example. And even if I take a really thin brush, the paint is just so thick that you can't drag it out into this really thin line the way that you can watercolor paint, unless of course I just do not have the correct paintbrushes, because I don't paint with acrylic paint very often. So the brushes that I have and the acrylic paints that I have are dollar store quality. I literally got them at a dollar store. So they're not the best quality, and perhaps that's why I'm having trouble. But on the other hand, this just goes to show you that you don't need to have all of these professional supplies in order to create beautiful paintings and beautiful masterpieces. So give it a go, even if you have really questionable paints. Give them a try. Just try to paint something fun with them, and you might be surprised. Anyways, thank you for joining me for today's acrylic paint episode. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check out my other uploads.